Today we'll be going over God of Apocalypse Darkseid versus Ajimu Najimi from the Medaka Box source. Now, before I start the video, I just asked if you guys could please like and subscribe, and stay tuned because this is going to be a pretty fun one. What's up guys, Auden here. Welcome back to another video, and today I thought I'd switch it up a little bit for you people to make things a little more interesting. I feel like it's been a little while since we had a versus battle, so I decided that we should do something a little fun. Not anything too crazy and not anything too casual at the same time. So we'll be starting with Darkseid to make things a lot more simple, and I'm going to be providing a lot of information for Darkseid. So let's begin. Firstly, in DC Universe number 1, Darkseid is stated to be bigger than the multiverse and fell on it. Next, Grant Morrison confirms he was pulling down everything with him, so he has the same amount of force as a multiverse. It's also stated that he caused damage to the Aurea world, which should get him to Uni+. Not only that, the place Darkseid is from is also stated to be beyond all space and time. And Jack Kirby's Fourth World also states again that it's to beyond space and time. Now, there's a lot of other various statements that make this a lot more fun. In Batman number 702, it's stated that new gods are living ideas that exist in a platonic world. Not only that, in Batman The Return of Bruce Wayne number 6, it's stated that new gods are self-aware ideas who use concepts as weapons. And in JLA number 15, the concepts of time such as past and future don't mean anything to these new gods. Then in Phantom Zone number 1, it's stated that they exist on the same level of reality as the Phantom Zone, which is a boundless dimension without dimensions. All these things should put him to multiversal or uni. And to even add in more stuff onto this to make this more interesting, Grant Morrison states that the new gods are platonic forms. Now, I'm going to be speed running a lot of this other stuff. These are going to be going over Darkseid's hacks and things he can do outside of his just general scaling. So to begin, in Superman vs. Darkseid Apocalypse Now, Darkseid has the ability to exist. Darkseid has existence erasure through his mega beams, which can wipe people out of history, and his termination itself. This is shown against Superman. He can also BFR people throughout time, sending them to various different time periods, throwing them off as a whole. There's also more BFR stuff via his beams and boon tubes, allowing him to be more versatile than you think. Then in Wonder Woman number 147, we see that he also has a high level of energy absorption, which is used to take all the energy out of Diana. Now, he can also brainwash people, which is stated in Action Comics 568 and Superman Batman number 12. This is shown against Superman, and this makes their fight way more interesting. And in Genesis number 4, he's able to freeze space-time, making things a lot crazier for the Justice League team. And he can also time travel, which is shown in Genesis number 2. He can trap people in a never-ending series of realities that get worse and worse each time. And he's a necessary existence who comes back to life immediately after death. And he flies to the source wall, which is the end of existence, which is stated to be at speeds beyond imagination. And with that being said, I think that's all for Darkseid. In summary, we could say Darkseid's AP is low complex to outer. Speed would be immeasurable to irrelevant. His hexes would be space and time manipulation, life and death manipulation, fate manipulation, conceptual manipulation, BFR, energy absorption, and existence erasure. And with that being said, I think we should move on to Ajimu Najimi.
So I just want to say before we go into the Ajimu Najimi section, please leave a like and subscribe on the video. And if you'd like to see any more versus battles just like this one, then recommend some in the comment section. Now let's jump into it. So I'm not going to say the exact number because this is absolutely baloney, but we see that she at least has more than 1 million skills in her arsenal that she can use against Darkseid. She also has an ability called Alibi Block, where she can be wherever she wants, whenever she wants, in a locked room in space, and it can go from either heaven or hell, or inside of it. She even says that this ability is so impressive that she can even see inside of the hearts of people that she's battling against, giving her senses on another level. One of her quadrillion skills is Death Block, which is able to give her eternal life. And this is backed up by the fact that she was born even before the creation of the universe. She waited years and millions and thousands of years before she finally appeared in this human form. This might not be too important, but she has an ability that's able to nullify any skill in her arsenal of quadrillion plus. She even has the ability to shoot a star, and she's able to destroy it with one shot, showing how powerful she is in comparison to the rest of the characters. She even has superhuman physical characteristics. A good example of this in the manga is when she's being sealed by the combination of Kamigawa's bookmaker and all of fiction, and she kept her great strength despite going past this length. She basically implies that she also has multi-location, because she states that 700 million people on Earth are none other than her. She also has self-sustenance. A good example of this is through both of her types. Type 1 being born before the universe and lived in the void during millions of years. And Type 2, the fact that she doesn't need sleep and could literally just live forever. She also has law manipulation, and the example of this is how Ajimi set up a rule for the hero's sword, making it so that only a hero can pull it out. And one of her most effective abilities out of her multitude of skill sets is her sealing. She partially resisted the effects of the bookmaker, which, if you don't know, is one of the most powerful things in the Medaka box. Now, let's get into her physical stats. Her attack potency should be somewhere around universal level. A good example of this is how she's capable of damaging a perfectly matched duplicate of herself, possibly far higher, stated to be able to become God, transcend dimensions, and control infinity above any other ability. And since attack potency translates to durability, we can also attribute these feats to her durability. And not only that, there's a lot of other impressive feats that she has durability-wise. Like, for example, she was able to observe the creation of the universe, but we don't know how close she was to the actual blast of the Big Bang. But it's still stated. So I guess her speed should be at least relativistic. For example, Medaka needed to use Kurakami's Phantom to stop her, so normally not omnipotence with Alibi Block. But at highest, it should be FTL, because of her ability to fight Ihiko Shishimi 100 times without dying. Ihiko Shishimi is FTL because she's able to react to Medaka's Kurakami Phantom, which she calls slow. That same Phantom is stated to be at light speed, if not more. So at the least, we could say this Phantom is light speed, but at the most, it would be FTL, which is why Ajimu Najimi would be FTL. Now, with this being said, let's go to who our winner is. So, if I had to decide who would win between Ajimu Najimi and Darkseid, while Darkseid's speed is immeasurable to irrelevant, his AP is low complex to outer, so in comparison to hers, which is uni, he'd be a whole dimensional tier above in terms of AP. So we can just say that Darkseid easily takes this one. But nice try, Ajimu Najimi.